wasting everything. We're wasting people's time because they're still feeling poorly. They're getting treatment, but they're feeling poorly. We're wasting societal resources, right? Each of these drugs are not cheap. So if somebody has to go on, you know, 10 doses of a $20,000 drug and have no benefit from it, and then you multiply that by, you know, hundreds and thousands of patients who are going through that for each treatment, that's a lot of costs that society is paying for without a benefit. If we are able to be smart in which treatments we're using, we can make this a very globally sustainable treatable disease. Right? A lot of the wastage is not so much because we're using a lot of treatments, but because we don't know which treatment works for which person. And so for some, we are finding that the fourth treatment works, the fifth treatment works, the third treatment works. And so there's a lot of obviously morbidity for the patients, the disruption that causes and the costs of that, but also the costs of trials of each of these treatments that are not working. Right. So I think the biggest factor that is likely to change the overall cost of IBD care is if we are able to avoid that wastage and get people the right treatment they need the earliest possible time that they will benefit from, then you save tremendously in terms of downstream costs.
So I work in a healthcare setting where costs are not an issue because it's paid through taxes. So for me, but I completely agree that the patients are wasting time currently. So we have to start a treatment. Usually it takes weeks to months before we are sure whether this drug works or not. And if it doesn't work, patients have to go through another cycle. And suddenly a year has passed and the patient has had symptoms all the way or hasn't done really well. And these are young patients in the middle of education, starting family, starting careers, and this year has just disappeared out of their life. They won't get it back. So there's a lot. So that's a big issue and a problem with treating these patients. That as I mentioned, our drugs are not that effective. There's a substantial part who will not benefit of those, and we lack tools to one understand who needs to get what type of treatment, but also tools how can we quickly say if this treatment will work or not on a patient. We still have to go through, as I said, many weeks of waiting for the effect before we can really say that this treatment works or not. And because we have limited options still, we usually want to try to really, we want to be sure that this is not working before we move on to another drug because, well, the options are not unlimited. That causes, of course, the patients to waste a lot of time where they're not feeling well. Their life passes without them being able to do what they wish to do.
I think that's an important question. Like, will IBD be cured? I think it comes up in every conversation that we have with patients with IBD. I think we have to first picture what cure means, and cure means different things for different people. So it's certainly very possible in this day and age for people who are on effective treatments to have no disease-related symptoms for years and years and years. So that we have achieved. What we haven't yet achieved is, can people be treated for only a short duration of time and then not have symptoms for a long period of time? Whether, you know, you take one treatment every 2 years, one treatment every 5 years, maybe one treatment ever, you know, is that plausible? It's possible, but I want to sort of say it in a very guarded way because we recognize that the environment continues to affect your microbiome. So there are all those environmental factors that potentially contribute to someone developing IBD. Those very much remain in play even after a particular treatment, right? So it may not be possible that you just sort of treat things once and then you are immune to the effects of the environment. So it may be that you need sort of redosing at various intervals or manipulation of the environment. All of those are possible. I think we're not quite there yet. But I absolutely want to emphasize that, you know, we have effective tools now for people to have sustained remission for a long period of time. So when people hear that, oh, there's no cure, that also means they're thinking they're going to be suffering, continuously till there is a cure. And I want to emphasize that is not the case, right? With our current treatments, you can be healthy for a long period of time as well. But there's absolutely a lot of research into seeing if treatments can be more durable, can be safer, can be more effective.
It's difficult to say. These are very complex diseases. Patients are not the same. One patient is not the same as the other patient. So the way the disease acts, and probably also what drives what caused the disease to develop will be different from patient to patient. So, I mean, I'm hoping that it will happen. I'm not seeing it happen within the next near future. But on the other hand, we must believe and keep trying to find cures. Things are moving very fast within science these years with new technologies making us understand the pathogenesis better and better. So maybe at some point, but I would say I think it's a challenging disease to cure because it's so complex, multifactorial, and we are still so far away from really understanding what's going on.